Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining again. We have completed 1 week. We are entering the second week of the Pranayama course. I'm going to start with the prayer. You can join me if you're familiar with the prayer, wherever you are. Just make sure you're muted. We'll begin with chanting Om 3 times and then Sahana Bhavatu. And then I'm going to chant the prayer to Krishnamacharya, our teacher. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Shri Krishna Vagishayatishwarabhyam Samprapta Chakrankana Bhashya Saram Srinot Yatau Samarpitaswam Shri Krishna Maryam Guruvaryamide Virodhe Kartike Mase Shatatara Krutodayam Yogacharyam Krishnamaryam Guruvaryamaham Bhaje Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. So sit with your back erect. If you're sitting on the chair, make sure your feet are firmly planted on the ground. You're not leaning back into the backrest. So sit a little forward with your back straight but relaxed. Make sure the lower back is not too arched. Your shoulders are dropped. Gently bring your chin down. Make sure the chest and the abdomen are open and relaxed. Just bring one hand to your upper abdomen, just above the navel. Just place your hand there. Keep your shoulders relaxed. And begin to watch your breath. Observe the movement that you can feel through the hand that's on your abdomen, the gentle expansion and relaxation of the abdomen as you follow the natural rhythm of the breath. And as we started doing last week, with each inhalation, deepen your awareness of whatever is arising in this moment. And with each exhalation, drop your thoughts and drop all the distractions for now. Emptying the mind of all the preoccupations for now through the exhalation. And as you inhale, just be aware. Be aware of your posture, position of your spine. Observe if your body is relaxed. And of course, the movement of the breath in your abdomen. Be patient with your mind, gently coaxing the mind to come into the breath, to follow the breath, to feel the breath. Slowly begin to extend your exhalation by gently drawing the lower abdomen in. So bring the other hand to the lower abdomen and start extending your exhalation. At the end of the exhalation, pause for a couple of seconds. Move your attention to the upper abdomen, the hand in the upper abdomen, and then allow the inhalation to happen. At the end of the inhalation, bring the attention back to the lower abdomen and then start exhaling, extending the exhalation a little further. Drawing the lower abdomen in, relaxing the chest. Pause, move the focus to the upper abdomen and then start inhaling. Continue to extend the exhalation, making sure that the breath is flowing out in a very smooth way. And as you continue to extend, you will begin to feel the sensation of the breath at the tip of your throat, just at the base of your throat. Continue to work with the exhalation, feeling the breath in your throat. Once you reach your comfortable maximum exhalation, just stay with it. And it doesn't matter if you have not reached your maximum exhalation, as long as the breath is flowing out smoothly and it is subtle. Just keep your attention on the breath. Follow the breath from the beginning to the end. As you begin to exhale, follow the breath. Continue to keep your attention and allow the exhalation to complete by itself. Pause, move your attention to the upper abdomen, and then start inhale. Pause after inhalation, move the attention to the lower abdomen, and work with the exhalation. And you will already see that your inhalation is getting deeper as you extend the exhalation. Without any effort, your inhalation is getting deeper. And now continue to work with a longer, complete exhalation as you move your hand on the upper abdomen slightly higher to your chest and very gently, in a very relaxed way, breathe into the chest and the upper abdomen as you deepen your inhalation. Pause, move the attention to the lower abdomen, and then start exhaling slowly and completely. Pay attention to the gap between the inhalation and the exhalation. Wait for 2 or 3 seconds after the exhalation, and then let the inhalation happen in a natural way, and then slowly deepen it. Watch where your mind is as the breath is deepening and lengthening. Is the mind with your breath or is it wandering? Gently bring it back to the breath. A couple of more breaths with a long, deep, complete exhalation and a very, very gentle, relaxed inhalation. Like last week, I would like you to bring your intention back. Why are we doing this practice? And what is the highest intention we can hold in our heart for ourselves and for the whole world? We remind ourselves how our actions can be refined and improved, to take the mind on the path of yoga. Let our actions be purifying in nature. We use the breath as a purifier, tapas, and the breath quietens the mind so that the mind can become more reflective. It has the ability to show us what we need to see and understand better. And the whole action, the intention, and the outcome is offered to the higher consciousness, to the world, to nature, whatever you might call, to the whole world. That within our limited understanding and capacity, we are doing our best, what we can. And since we don't have any control over what can happen, what is the outcome, can we bring all the attention to the very action that we're doing now and to the quality of this action with great attention and reverence towards the breath, towards the very source of life, the prana that is expressed as the breath. And with this intention, we're going to refresh our connection to the breath and through the breath to the prana. You can open your eyes, relax yourself, just move into a more relaxed seated position. So, why is the breathing so important? This is really the most central aspect of yoga. And I think pranayama is the greatest gift yoga has given to the world, to humanity. Just the power of the breath and how it can completely change not only your physiology, your psyche, your state of mind. It can completely change the way we perceive our reality, which is really the fundamental cause for all suffering and also how to find freedom from suffering. So the breath is really the purifier. And when we say purifier, it is helping me to clean my lens, which is my mind. It is helping me to calm my senses. It is helping me to develop a better sense of well-being in my body so that I can actually pay attention to something more deeper and more important than getting caught up with the problems of the body. So the breath is really the bridge between consciousness, what we call the deeper intelligence or awareness or the witness, and the changing impermanent aspect of our reality, what we call prakriti or nature. Yeah, so we have the consciousness, which is the Purusha, that which is permanent, unchanging, that which was never born, that which never dies. Yeah. And then we have the Prakriti, which is again, which was never born, which will never die, but which will keep mutating itself, changing itself constantly. The body and the mind and nature and everything that we are experiencing as our reality is constantly changing. And what is bridging these two, the permanent and the impermanent, is the breath. So the prana, which is the vital energy that is expressing itself through the breath primarily and through all the other functions, movements, changes. Prana itself is changing. So texts talk about the prana as being the breath of the Purusha, the breath of the higher self or the consciousness in Prakriti. And prana is also considered part of Prakriti because it is that which uh, makes all the changes happen in the body, in the mind, and everything. Everything moves only because of the prana. So, this relationship with the prana for the consciousness is like that of a friend. Prana is called the Atma Sakha, it's a friend of the consciousness. So, if I really want to find freedom from suffering, any form of suffering, what yoga tells us, of course, it gives us a lot of tools to work with reducing pain, uh, becoming healthier in the body, calming the mind, cleaning the mind, all that. But the ultimate goal of yoga is to help us to understand who we are, what is our true nature. Yeah, let's not forget that is the most important focus or the goal of yoga. So I need to know who I am. And this idea of the consciousness, that which I am truly, is only an idea in the head. Yeah, because I don't know. I don't know who I am. I only know my body, I only know my mind and my constructed idea of myself. And that's what I believe I am. Yeah. So how will I even know who I am? Now, if you look at, for example, Vedanta talks about understanding Atma, Brahman, whatever. And the mode of understanding, how do you understand, is through the Agama Pramana. So the text is saying in so many different ways, through so many different analogies, stories, explanations, arguments about the nature of the Brahman, nature of the Purusha, whatever. But yoga wants to understand everything through direct experience. So yoga, of course, we begin with the Agama Pramana, which is textual study. So you study the Yoga Sutra to understand what this Purusha is, what this Prakriti is, what their relationship is. But from there, from Agama, you come to Anumana, you start making inferential understanding. And so most of what we understand about our reality is through inference. So we are told, Patanjali says that if you do a long exhale and you suspend your breath after exhalation, your mind will quieten down. And whatever be the obstacles of the mind or even any symptom of illness will be pacified with a long exhalation and a brief suspension of the breath after exhalation. This is what we did last week. Okay, so there is that experience that when I do a long exhalation and quietening the mind happens naturally. But ultimately, what Patanjali is saying that anything you want to understand has to be your direct experience. It has to be pratyaksha pramana. And breath is, like I said, the bridge between the consciousness and Prakriti. So if I want to experience the ultimate form or the what you say, the primordial the prototype of from where everything evolved, I need to hold on to my breath, through which I can access my prana, through which I can connect to all forms of Prakriti. But even for me to understand my true nature, I need my breath. Because the breath is the one which is going to clean my mind, and then my mind is the instrument, the mirror that will help me to see who I am. Now, this is very far fetched. Okay, something that we can only imagine. Imagine cleaning the mind to the point that I can see who I am. So it's not like the mirror that you see, that I can actually see with my eyes. When we are saying the mind helps me to perceive, a clear mind will help me to perceive. That perception does not depend on the sensory perception. It is a different level of perception we're talking about. It is not based on what the senses are showing us. So we have to go beyond the senses. But for everything, we need the breath. Yeah. So why am I talking on this? We're just entering the pranayama process. It is always important for us to have the larger goal in mind and the larger intention in mind as we progress, because it is so easy to lose our attention and be drawn outside. There are enough distractions for the mind, and the nature of the mind, particularly today, in the recent years, I would say, in the last 10 years or so, there's just so much of distraction that to even keep our attention for a few seconds or for a few minutes on one point or one thing is very, very difficult for the mind. We're not talking about children, we're not talking about attention deficiency. I'm saying attention deficiency is something that's so common among all of us. So as I'm talking to you, suppose I see my phone is blinking, then my mind will get distracted. So I have to put my phone upside down so that I don't have to get distracted by it. And I don't know what's happening to you there, what kind of distractions you have. So if I really want to anchor myself to the breath, in spite of all these temptations and distractions and pushes and pulls that life is challenging me with, I need to have an understanding of, even if it is intellectual, even if it is imaginary, I need to have an understanding of the higher goal or the highest possibility for my mind, that I am doing this towards samadhi, towards knowing my true nature. And pranayama is a very significant, very important step towards it. Yeah. So that's why we are here. That's why we are doing pranayama. So it's a great opportunity, as I said, that we don't have to go out. Even within the house, we have enough distractions, a lot of work to do, but find a little time. And I hope you have been able to find a little time to do your practice just by yourself. 12 breaths or 24 breaths once or twice a day. And if you have done that practice even for a few days in this 1 week, I'm sure you would have experienced some quietness. You would have tasted what it means to clean the mind. Even if it is a very temporary appeasement of the distractions, of the activities, even at a superficial level. Yeah. So I just wanted to share with you a small passage from the book The Little Prince, which is a French novel which has been translated to more than 85 languages in the world. And those of you who have read it would agree it's one of the most powerful books. It's a children's book. So if you haven't read the book, please, you can find a free download from the internet. So I'm going to just read a passage from it. So this is about a little prince. I don't want to give you the story, but this is the little prince meeting a fox. So the fox gazed at the little prince for a long time. "Please, tame me," he said. "I want to, very much," the little prince replied, "but I have not much time. I have friends to discover and a great many things to understand." "One only understands the things that one tames," said the fox. "Men have no more time to understand anything. They buy things all ready-made at the shops, but there is no shop anywhere where one can buy friendship. And so men have no friends anymore. If you want a friend, tame me." "What must I do to tame you?" asked the little prince. "You must be very patient," replied the fox. "First, you will sit down at a little distance from me, like that, in the grass. I shall look at you out of the corner of my eye, and you will say nothing. Words are the source of misunderstandings. But you will sit a little closer to me every day. The next day, the little prince came back. It would have been better to come back at the same hour, said the fox. If, for example, you came at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, then at 3 o'clock I shall begin to be happy. I shall feel happier and happier as the hour advances. At 4 o'clock, I shall already be worrying and jumping about. I shall show you how happy I am. But if you come at just any time, I shall never know at what hour my heart is to be ready to greet you. One must observe the proper rites. The rite is like a ritual. So you can go back and read the rest of the story. But I just love this passage because it's like an analogy for the relationship, the friendship we need to develop with our breath. So pranayama is about befriending our breath. Taming is the word that the English translation uses, which I don't think is a very good translation of the original French word. I don't know French. So if anybody knows French, you may agree with me. But I've read the Tamil version of it, and in Tamil, if anybody knows Tamil, the word is பழக்கப்படுத்திக்கொள். So develop a relationship with me. That is what the word means. That's what the fox is asking the little prince to do. Taming. So pranayama is about really developing this very deep, intimate, reverential relationship with our breath, which is the very source of our life, which is a very expression of our prana, moment to moment to moment. It is something that tells us that I am alive. Yeah. And when I develop this deep, abiding, sustained relationship with my breath, I'm actually able to develop a deeper connection and understanding of the prana, the vital energy. And I will also begin to understand how the prana functions through my mind, through my body, through my actions, through my physiology. I will begin to develop a deeper understanding. And you will all agree that developing a friendship is about understanding the other person very deeply, accepting of the other person completely, unconditionally. Often it doesn't happen in friendship, but this is really what we are looking at in friendship, right? And this is something that we can really develop with our breath, and pranayama is simply a way to do that. It gives us the methodology, it gives us the practice and the pathway, and how to progress also with it, how to make this connection deeper and deeper. Yeah. And like what we saw last week, Desha Kala Sankhya. Desha is where do I place my mind, how do I regulate my breath, and how do I deepen this connection between my mind and my breath by anchoring the mind in a certain part of the body, that is Desha. So it's also the part through which I'm regulating the breath. It could be the nostril, the throat, or the mouth. Kala is establishing the rhythm with the breath, which is also an expression of the relationship between the different components of the breath, and therefore the kind of effects that one can create through altering the relationship between the different components, for which I need to understand all the components of the breath. I need to know the exhalation, I need to know my inhalation, I need to be able to master to a certain extent breath holding as well, so that I can eventually still my mind and prepare my mind for dharana or meditation. And then Sankhya, of course, how long is my practice? How long can I sit in a comfortable posture without letting the body interfere? How long can my mind engage with the breath continuously, again and again, bringing the attention of the mind back to the breath? And the more I am able to deepen my practice, lengthen my practice, the more I develop this relationship with my breath. Now, just don't assume that by sitting longer and longer, develop this relationship. Sometimes we have friends for a whole lifetime, but when we meet this friend after many years, we realize we don't know this friend at all, right? Did I really know this person? Forget about friends. Think about the people we're living with. Okay, our spouse, our parents, our siblings. Do we even know each other? How much do we know each other? Have we really made efforts to develop this friendship, this relationship? Can we start with the breath? Because the breath is going to help us to develop all other relationships and deepen all other relationships and make them better. You ask me how, you will see that. Okay, so today's practice will be extending the exhalation and the inhalation using the technique of Shakuntala. I should be able to see so that I can you,
Sorry, Saras.
can I see myself?
You want to see
I
yourself?
can't see anybody. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I pinned your video so that, yeah.
So what we will do is, for most of us who are in India, it is evening, late evening, and maybe it's just before your dinner. And hopefully you're going to not have a very intense evening after this, or you're not going to do anything much after this. You're going to have dinner, relax yourself, and then go to sleep. So I'm going to work with extending the exhalation using a technique called Brahmi. Okay, so last week what we did, we used a simple technique of Ujjayi. I would like to go into Ujjayi a little bit later, but today we will work with Brahmari, which is using the sound like a humming of a bee. Here it is through the exhalation, we are going to use Brahmari to extend the exhalation. And then we will use Shitali to extend the inhalation. So what we will do today is you explore for yourself your comfortable length of maximum exhalation with Brahmari and maximum inhalation with Shitali. Making sure that very rarely for some people inhalation may be longer than exhalation, which is not a good idea. Generally, exhalation should be longer than inhalation. So the reason why I am working with exhalation first is to ensure the exhalation is really, really long before you start working with the inhalation. And Shitali is a very good technique to extend your inhalation. The danger is sometimes you can make your inhalation very long or longer than the exhalation. So once you reach your long exhalation with Brahmari, maintain that and start extending the inhalation. Okay? So when your inhalation reaches closer to your exhalation, you stop there and just maintain that rhythm. Okay? So I'm going to demonstrate Brahmari to you. You will first just inhale normally through Ujjayi and then exhale with Brahmari for a few breaths. After that, I'm going to demonstrate to inhale, extending the Shitali, main to Brahmari, second step. The third step, each one of you will find your own rhythm, your own kala for now with your breath. So keep a long exhalation, okay? And your inhalation you can count in your mind, making sure that it is not too long. Okay, but it has to be very relaxed and comfortable. So, Bhramari. So you bring your attention to the dip of your throat here, the base of the throat. Keep your chin down and maintain a very relaxed, normal inhalation. And as you exhale, focus on the dip of your throat and make a very smooth, continuous humming sound. So I'm making the sound loud enough for you to hear. It need not be so loud. Okay, and keep the pitch very low. It's not it's not like that. It is if you place a finger at the base of your throat, don't press, just place your finger or just place your fingers here and you'll feel the vibration. Place the other hand in your lower abdomen. So remember to draw the lower abdomen in and up as you relax your chest, as you do your Bhramari Pranayama. Extending the exhalation slowly. Make sure the sound is very, very smooth and subtle. You're not tensing up this area. Keep the neck shoulder area very relaxed. Keep your chin slightly down. You may place your fingers at the base of your throat to feel the vibration. The other hand in your lower abdomen so that you can actively draw the lower abdomen in as you're exhaling. So start doing it. Make sure your mics are muted so you're not disturbing anybody. Keep a very relaxed inhalation. So as you're doing this, there is a very, very slight restriction at the throat, but ensure this whole area is relaxed around your neck, shoulder, throat. And follow the breath. Follow the breath from the lower abdomen all the way up to the throat and keep the focus on the throat as you continue to exhale and conclude your exhalation. Then shift your focus to your inhalation in the chest. So don't try to control the breath. There is no competition. Simply work with a very relaxed exhalation using Bhramari. Okay, complete with this breath. You can bring your hands down. And now the inhalation with the Sitali, where you're going to make a kind of a tube like the beak of the bird. You're going to roll the sides of the tongue and slightly bring the tongue outside of the mouth. So if you can't roll, you can just place the tongue slightly outside and allow the air to pass over the surface of the tongue. And as you do this, it helps to raise your head by lengthening, straightening the spine. So don't raise your head independently. Move the neck along with the spine, straightening the chest, straightening the upper back, and raising the head as you inhale through the mouth. Then you will fold the tongue back, keep the tongue folded back, bring your chin down, and then exhale with Bhramari, focusing on the throat. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate. Pause for a little while after the exhalation. After you've completed the exhalation, just be very quiet for a few seconds. And then shift the focus to the tip of your tongue. Enjoy your breathing. Inhale Sitali and slowly extend your inhalation to your comfortable level, but making sure the exhalation is definitely longer than the inhalation. When you're exhaling, you're directing the breath and your awareness from the lower abdomen as you draw it in all the way back to the throat, and keep your awareness in the throat till you complete the exhalation. Suspend your breath and wait for a while, and then shift the focus to the tip of the tongue. Start inhaling, straightening the spine and raising the head. Finish the inhalation through the tongue. Feel the refreshing breath flowing all the way down your throat. Open the mouth, fold the tongue back, bring your chin down. Bhramari from the lower abdomen to the throat. Continue. Even as you draw the lower abdomen in, ensure that it is not tensing up any part of your torso, the lower abdomen or the lower back. Your chest is relaxed. The diaphragm is moving freely. The throat, the shoulder, the upper back area is very relaxed. Your face is very relaxed. And like the fox tells the little prince, moving a little closer to the breath. With each breath, moving a little closer to your friend with great reverence and curiosity. Exhale, Brahmari. Make sure the Brahmari is very smooth and subtle. The third step is to find your rhythm. If you can establish a certain length of inhalation, just maintain that with a long exhalation. So you don't have to count your exhalation, but just make sure your inhalation is less than the exhalation, and you can maintain a 5 or 6 second inhalation. And you also learned how to count the breath last week, right? First breath, second breath, third breath, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 breaths, maintaining a certain length of inhalation, maybe 5 or 6 seconds, and a complete long, deep exhalation with Brahmari, directing your awareness from the lower abdomen as you draw it in all the way to your throat. Complete your breath and then pause for a little while. Shift the focus to the tip of the tongue and start inhaling. 12 breaths. Make sure you're savoring every breath, enjoying this time with your friend. So you can complete with this breath and you can continue after we close the session. Maybe try and do another 12 breaths before you go to bed, preferably about 2 hours after dinner. And so this is a technique which is good for summer. Those in India, we are entering summer. It's already very hot in Chennai now. So Shitali is a very good technique. It's supposed to help to cool the system down. And Brahmari is a very good technique to relax the body and the mind. Particularly if the mind is very busy, there's a lot of chatter. The sound that we're creating with the Brahmari and paying attention to the smoothness of the sound can help to reduce the chatter of the mind. So for the next 1 week, the practice can be doing 12 to 24 breaths of Shitali and Brahmari. So if you can't roll the tongue, just keep the tongue slightly out and inhale. Let the air pass over the tongue. So as air passes over the tongue, it cools down and refreshes the throat. So do this 12 to 24 breaths once or twice a day. If you're able to do it before going to bed, keep your inhalation short and your exhalation as long as possible. Okay. If you're doing it in the morning, you can keep it almost equal. But what I would like you to do is find out with this technique what is your comfortable maximum inhalation and what is your comfortable maximum exhalation. But make sure the inhalation is not longer than exhalation. A few breaths is okay, but if you consistently tend to do Shitali, you might sometimes overshoot the exhalation. So be aware of that possibility, and that's important that your inhalation is definitely equal or lesser than your exhalation so that it doesn't agitate your mind. Okay, so enjoy your practice for this week, and I will see you again next Sunday. We'll finish with a prayer. asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Saras.
Thank you, Saras.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Saras. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Sarah.
you.
Lovely.
Thank you very much.
Evening. Thank you. Thank you, Saras.
Thank you. Thank you,